What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stephen Hogan podcast. Today, I have a familiar face to many of you, Hannah Dasher. We're going to be talking about everything from time at a record label, major deal, and some of the astonishing facts that I learned about her time with a major deal. And the most important thing, we talk about her new music coming out in October. And we got to support her because she is on tour right now. And one of the big things that she's going to be doing is headlining the Texas State Fair in Dallas in October. Texas, you're going to love Hannah Dasher. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Hannah Dasher. Let's dive into the time at Sony having a record deal. What did that look like?
Well, I don't know what else to compare it to because it's the only major, record deal I've ever had. Compared to some other friends of mine who also have major record deals at the same time, was not getting as much attention at all. Like their A&R person, A&R is, I guess it's your talent agent, for lack of a better term, just for the folks back home, that's assigned to you as an artist, like your representative at the label. That's your artist and repertoire person. Anyhow, but my buddies, their A&R person, would drive an hour and a half to go have dinner with them at their house in the country and listen to some new songs, or they would come over and have wine and listen to some songs. I couldn't get mine to do that. I wasn't vaccinated, and I could not get my A&R person to just come over for wine and listen to some songs. No wine even, just come listen. So that was really hard. It was just a very corporate, cold setting. But I don't know what else to compare it to.
Did you feel like you had champions?
I did, but they all lost their job one by one. Ed Ravadavi, I can't pronounce his last name. He's awesome, but he is the one that encouraged me. He and my buddy Johnny encouraged me to get on TikTok, and they saw my potential for social media growth. And so he was a big encourager of mine. I remember he took me out for drinks a couple times, and I appreciated that. And then later, shortly after, I think, lost his job, he's now at, I think he owns or runs Guerrilla Marketing. They're doing pretty good. Mm-hmm. Anyway, then the guy that signed me got promoted to VP, which is great. And so the A&R person that took his place, was someone a girl, it was a couple years younger than me, who I met when she moved to town, and took her out for drinks when she moved to town. She was actually our secretary, intern secretary at BMG when I was a writer there. Anyway, so it's kind of funny how that tables turned. But she didn't know who Tammy Wynette was. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, okay, how is this person my A&R person? Like, I'm sure they're great at a lot of things, but how is this person literally over an artist like me who was trying to carry the torch forward with acts like that and build upon that?
I want to pause real quick. You said that they were encouraging you to do social media.
Ed was, yes.
Ed was.
Yes.
And why was he encouraging you to do that?
In a nutshell, just he liked the content that I put out and encouraged me to do that and to build a platform that way, basically. With
the end goal of you building your brand as an artist?
Sure. Yeah.
So what I would think a label would do, they wanted you to do.
True. Well, the label, I didn't have a manager to put me on any tours, to go meet with the agency, to make sure that I was, that I had a steady group of dates coming along, which is what I see them doing with all the other acts.
A booking agent?
I had a booking agent, but I didn't have a big manager to put their thumb over the agent to be like, hey, make sure she's on this tour. Hey.
So no one was managing it like your traditional manager role of an artist.
Correct.
You didn't have a manager.
No. No.
But you had a deal with a major.
Correct.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
They said, get something to manage, and the label said, get something to manage, and we'll introduce you to a manager.
Did they?
Yeah.
And
so that's what I did. The head label, Randy, said, build a platform, like grow some numbers for me. And he said, bring me some songs. And so I built my TikTok, and I brought the half record, which had songs like Guys Buy the Drinks, Girls Call the Shots, Left, Right, things like that on their shoes, whatever. Anyhow, some great songs on that record. Anyway, and so the phone call that I thought was to introduce me to Jason Owen was actually to drop me. We had just released the half record, and but my engagement, they said, wasn't high enough. I think I mentioned this in our last interview. I had like 1 million or 1.1 million followers on my socials or on TikTok, and my listening audience was at 487,000 listeners a month on Spotify, which is a little bit less than half engagement.
Where were you
which
playlisted?
Is pretty fucking good.
That is very good.
Considering that at the time I didn't think it was good enough. I was told that it wasn't high enough engagement. They're like, it's just not translating. We think you're going to do fine on your own. And I was just flabbergasted but the humbling needed to happen because I thought I'm the last. I knew I was good. I knew that was the last artist they were going to drop, but I think God wanted me to fix that attitude. He sure did.
So you're there at the label 4 years.
Yep.
They drop you at the end of 4 years after you put out your first project.
Yep. Fired me out of the cannon.
Within how many days of your project?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks of your project.
Yeah.
So not even time for your project to get anywhere.
Project was released on the 9th. They dropped me on like the 20-something.
And you hadn't gone on tour with the record?
Never. I've never been on a tour in my life.
They didn't get you in a top 5 spot on playlists?
No.
Okay. Let's see what else.
They did put me on the Billboard leading up to it, or then my publicist did, the little Nashville sign. I did get on the Nashville sign.
The Nashville sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't translate into the world. That translates to people that drive down to Midtown.
Right? No, I mean, I'm with you. You
know what I'm saying?
But
I'm just confused. I'm just like trying to like add it up here. So like they didn't do anything to promote your record. You didn't even have the chance to promote your record. I'm
sure they pushed the songs too. I think the reason I was streaming, I had those followers, is because of their streaming strategy. But I believe it's because they put money behind. They have to put money behind something. I don't know what their strategy was exactly, but
well, there's no way that they would have enough data in 2 weeks after a record release to be able to drop an artist for the sole reason of your songs or your music's not translating. So that wasn't really the reason.
That's what I was told, and that we need a manager to help carry the load. And I said, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But
yeah, that's why back to the manager thing. I would think that you would have a manager before they would have signed you, but then they wanted you to get signed to get a manager, but then they don't give you a manager, or they do. How does that work?
I kind of did it backwards. Got the deal before I got the manager, got the booking agent and all that. Typically, you want to have them. I would think it'd be good to find a good manager that believes in what you're doing, that champions you and brings you in. They'll get a cut of that signing bonus, etc. But unfortunately, the world that we're in, it's so shallow. No manager wants to work with you unless you've got a big deal, major deal. So that's kind of where you are. Anyway. But and I worked with the guy for 6 months, and I love him to pieces. But the artist that brought me on, that introduced me to him, wound up leaving him a couple months after I started working with him, and so that kind of discouraged me a little bit. And he lives in Texas. He's rarely in town, and I'm the kind of artist where you've got to say, hey, we're going to get you from point A to point D, and this is what's involved to get there. It's going to take B, C, etc. Vision. And no one's ever really taken the time to just sit and explain that to me, especially just do what I say and give it to me at this deadline. And people like me don't work that well. Well, don't work well that way. You know what I mean? Like because I'm a creative and because I'm so hands-on, I do trust you and I trust your track record. But let me in on a plan here so I understand what's going on, because I'm going to have some ideas to bring to the table too to help lighten the load. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I'm a micromanager.
Same. But
so it would be really hard for me to have someone be a manager that took a position that I felt like was above me and they were telling me what to do, because I hate being told what to do. So as soon as I'm told what to do, everything in me wants to resist. I've been like that since I was a little kid. Do you have that in you?
Absolutely. I will say, though, this guy looks a lot like you. I love him to pieces. But he did get me those 2 dates with Hank and Skinnerd, which was awesome. So I was really, really grateful for that. But, then COVID happened and everybody pulled the plug. Nobody was touring anymore.
Yeah.
But I just think that I wasn't ready for one yet either. I think I did have to have something to manage. But that same manager was, they would send me off to do a date here or there by myself, and it blows my mind now, but it's just because it's like, damn. An artist can't leave town by themselves. They've got to have somebody to sell merch, somebody to do something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was doing it all by myself.
Yeah.
Navigating my way through airports.
So the label side really was still you on your own?
Yes. A label signs you and expects you to take off on your own. They sign you, they shelve you, and they dust you off every now and then. But they literally just let you sit there until something takes off. And then if it takes off, they bring you down and they take the credit for it. You know what I mean? And
what got you signed in the first place?
Championship. Jaron Johnston and Evan, his wife, Musto, went to Jim Catino. Love him, and just playing him some music that he and I have been writing and recording, and Jim dug it. And hype, Jaron would play him a song, and Jaron would just, oh, that's a hit. He would just hype it up, obviously, and Jim bought it. And then I played for the label, and they got it, and...
was that it? Like, was there a huge dating process?
Just 2 meetings. No, just 2 meetings and done, signed.
Wow.
They didn't announce me. They never, formally took me to dinner or anything like that. Never even made a public announcement.
They didn't do the Music Row magazine, just signed Hannah Dash? Wow.
So that was tough.
That's so confusing.
I felt like they were ashamed of me. But, it could have been my weight, too. They signed me for, 1990s Heartbreak. They were like, oh, that's a hit, that's a hit, that's a hit. That needs to be. But instead of, putting the song out and sending me down a radio tour, which I feel like they should have done, because I had other songs like Redneck Ass. You can't play that on radio, but either way, there's still, when you go to radio, it kind of builds back then, it builds a fire under Music Row and your team to song hunt to find, or to really get in there, write them and get them done. That could have been done in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but they were too busy pushing Walker's. Walker Hayes had a song about the 90s, I think. So for years I thought, well, the songs aren't there yet. I guess the songs aren't there yet. But then, it took me losing my deal to think, screw it. Yes, these songs are great. What shows I have done, they're singing them back to me. So we've got something here. I'm going to keep going with it.
Yeah. I feel like as a observer, you were significantly failed as a musician, singer-songwriter, artist by that record deal.
Sure.
They dropped the ball.
Sure. It gave me credibility, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But you also said something when we talked last about, there's almost a scarlet letter next to your name?
100% there
After
is.
you...
You'd be amazed at all the little, the OG blue check marks that were up in my comments and my likes on posts that aren't there anymore. They're in my stories. But they're not, they won't publicly show their approval now. And that sucks.
Well, it shows who your real friends are, too.
It does. But thank God I don't get my validation from that.
Yeah.
Or
That's
I'd be
rough,
a mess.
though, man. That's tough, because it's like you work your whole life at this thing, you get it, and then it goes away, and then you realize the self-belief comes in like you have now, and this growing journey of you becoming the person that God has meant for you to become, but it's not the easy way, it's the hair falling out for me getting gray's way. I read in the Bible it says it's like grays are a sign of wisdom, and it's better for a man to have patience than it is to be a warrior, and to be able to, it's better to have patience than to storm and conquer a city. And I thought, Nashville is a city that everyone tries to conquer. But in that passage, it's talking that patience is more important than being able to conquer a city.
Dang, I need to read that, because I'm trying to conquer L.A., Nashville, and New York. And,
And so
Texas.
really patience is the thing that is the secret ingredient. We're on the precipice of new music.
Yes.
And you don't have a date, but you have a month, October.
Yep.
Okay. And what does that look like? Do you know yet? Are you doing a video? Are you doing anything?
I'll do several. The Waylon Jennings estate is joining forces with me for a little bit of that. They reached out.
I saw that they follow you, or you follow them.
They reached out earlier this year, and they're fans of what I do, and they want to collaborate on some things this year, and I was tickled by that. I actually got I've got some of his, I guess, some little relics. I like to collect things anyway, and Waylon's one of the ones I've collected, and Hank and things like that. But yes, it's and where I'm living, as a matter of fact, is where I'm in the guest house to where Waylon was living in 1976 and 77 when he was cutting the Wanted Outlaws album. So it's kind of wild that anyway, I'm releasing the song Wanted.
Wow.
As well. But yeah, I have felt like such an outcast the last couple of years in town. Anyway, and you don't want to be that, but again, I'm choosing to wear my independence more like a Letterman jacket than a scarlet letter.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's well put.
And this song is basically, just the chorus is just, give me a spotlight on a busy night, and you'll all see that I'm wanted. I don't want to be an outlaw. I'm actually wanted. Just put me in the right room, and I'm wanted.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm excited for y'all to hear that. And I've been whittling on an idea for a minute. And I try to save an idea like for the right writer, but then I felt convicted one morning last week. I remember Alan Shamblin saying once, great hit writer, y'all check him out if you don't know him. But anyway, to say, he said basically, always bring your best to the room. Always bring your best to your co-writer. Don't hold back. Just bring him your best. And so I did that day. Anyway, but it's the title is King of the King. It's just talking about the choruses. It don't get bigger than Elvis. Even Elvis had to earn his wings. How big I get won't mean shit when I meet the King of the King.
Mm.
And again,
that's cool.
It's just a truth that I had to tell, and I thought it'd be great content to branding around the song itself.
Can I just read the first two lines?
Yeah.
I set out to be famous, now I just want to be free. That's honest.
I wrote that on the side of the hotel room a few weeks ago in Chicago, that first verse.
How are you feeling when you wrote that?
I just done a radio interview with Adam Hood and some radio DJ out of Chicago, and he was bragging about, I don't know, something he'd done with some artist, and then Lainey Wilson and da-da-da, and anyway, and not realizing that, Adam is earning mailbox money and me from all these acts that he's just named. We've written songs for these people, that he's mentioned in Stapleton and Little Big Town or whatever, et cetera. And anyway, and I'm looking, and Adam's pushing 50 years old, and he's such a legend. He's so gifted, and he's still grinding. He's opening for me that weekend, and I felt like I should have been opening for Adam. And I was just frustrated. I was just like, if the world knew how gifted this guy is, and I mean, he deserves to be at the top, but I just got to thinking, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're all going to the same place.
So where can people see you? Where are you going to be in the rest of this month, next month?
Ooh, Bristol Rhythm and Roots. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be in Kentucky a lot this fall. I'll be in Texas a whole lot this fall. So stoked for that. We're headlining the State Fair in Dallas on the 13th. It's a big weekend, too, a big game weekend as well. So,
Dallas State Fair headlining. That's
Dallas
a big deal.
In Tennessee, right? I guess I reckon it's, big enough to me. So I'm tickled.
Texas, I feel like Texas, I could be wrong, is all about Hannah Dasher.
They're about to be. At least I hope so. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm still, grinding gears and trying to grow the dang thing, obviously. But I think me and Texas are cut from the same cloth.
I think you are. And that's a wrap with Hannah. Hannah, thanks for being here. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun sitting down. We did this one real late, and we're both at the end of a long day, and we're both yawning, and I had a coffee during this, but she was willing to make it happen at nighttime. Please, if you loved this, go follow Hannah at Hannah Dasher on all socials, and listen to her music. Support her. Go see her live. To know Hannah, get Hannah, is to see Hannah in person. Buy a hat, buy a shirt, buy a CD. Until next time, from me and Hannah, peace.